there are a few different sound features that we would label personality implying features of the voice. And these include things like intonation, the sort of rise and fall of the pitch contour that we utilize during our typical speech. It can include things like rhythm and stress, how we shorten and elongate certain sounds to communicate specific things, right? And then we also have something like, dynamic variation and dynamic contrast. How do you indicate, like, how do you get louder? How do you get softer? How do you navigate those changes to also, again, emphasize certain things in speech? Well, in addition to those, we also have pronunciation. And pronunciation is going to be the perceptual quality that we hear when we hear a voice sort of changing how it articulates the sound, what the shape of the tongue is, and stuff like that. Now, the thing is, we could try to micromanage the tongue. We could say, like, oh yeah, move your tongue here. And the back of your tongue should be in this place. The front of your tongue should be, in this location, or should articulate this sound along this specific structure in the roof of your mouth, or whatever. But the reality is that the tongue is very poorly innervated to communicate that kind of positional and, like, proprioceptive awareness to you. So you don't have, like, a really strong sense of where the tongue is in your mouth, probably, other than just sort of vaguely in your mouth somewhere. Our goal is to see if we can start to hear that change then as a change in pronunciation. So I'm going to make a separate recording then of just listening for some of these potential sounds. But I wanted to say, sort of preface this with the idea that, like, we can listen to this change in pronunciation and get a lot of different things out of it. We might hear a change in someone's social class. So as someone starts to pronounce things differently, suddenly we have a sense that they're from a different social class or upbringing, right? If we hear someone change their pronunciation, it could imply that they're from a different part of the country or from a different part of the world. It can imply that they grew up speaking a different language, or that they were assigned a different gender at birth, right? So these changes in pronunciation don't just carry gender implications, they carry a lot of other implications. We want to be aware of them and, make these broad level changes as best we can without sort of undermining our own sense of personality. Like, I don't want you to change so that you sound like you're from California necessarily, unless you want to, So, stay tuned for another clip.